Radio Marija flimkien ma' BirdLife Malta jistedinkom issegwu l-programm Naturali. Ftit minuti ta' tarif, kurzitajiet u aħbarijiet dwar in-natura kemm ta' pajjiżna kif ukoll tad-dinja. Id-dera ta' tfal ta' kull età jilagħbu bit-tablets jew is-smartphones saret mill-aktar komuni. Ir-rivoluzzjoni diġitali daħlitna f'dinja ġdida li bit-tajjeb kollu tagħha tellet ħajt benna u d-dinja ta' madwarna. Fost l-oħrajn dan hu rifless fin-nuqqas ta' interess li t-tfal sar għandhom fin-natura. L-intervista ta' din il-ġimgħa se tlaqana ma' Jane Watt, impjegata mal-RSPB li qiegħda taħdem fuq programm sabiex in-natura terġa' ssib posta fil-ħajja tat tfal u l-għalliema tagħhom.
So hello Janet and welcome to our program, and I would like to start by asking you what is the RSPB and your role within this organization.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm from the RSPB, the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, which is an organisation in the UK which has been running for over 125 years. So we've got a very long history of both protecting birds but also looking wider to give nature a home. Mm-hmm. And very much over more recent years that's what we've been trying to do, move towards an all-nature programme. We're a charity. We've got over 1.1 million members.
That's a lot of members.
It is, thankfully. It's the largest nature conservation charity in the UK.
And what's your role in the RSPB? So
I work within the education team, and my job is schools outreach officer, and so I'm part of a schools outreach project. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you about the project, which is essentially looking to engage with children who won't come and visit us on our reserves.
And why is that?
Largely because the reserves tend to be out in the countryside, and the children are in cities and towns across the UK. So it's a big effort, it's a big ask for schools to organise buses and to organise the time out of the classroom, to organise extra helpers to come and supervise. So most schools won't go out to one of the RSPB's reserves. So we thought, how do we reach them? Well, let's go to where they're at. So we've set up this schools outreach programme, largely an urban programme, because that's where the concentration of people and obviously children are.
And I think it's also the place where children are affected by also mostly by this lack of contact with nature.
Yes, although interestingly some research has shown that even if you're a child who lives out in the countryside and you're surrounded by maybe more agricultural fields, you maybe take it for granted and aren't necessarily involved or necessarily active in the countryside.
So sort of the countryside would be just in the background without experiencing it. Yeah. So what happens in this outreach program?
So we found that generally, whether children are in the countryside or whether they live in urban situations, this generation is very much more disconnected from nature. They, as we all know, children are on their smartphones or on their screens, whether it be computers or gaming. Mm-hmm. So they're disconnected from the natural world around them. And that has definitely increased over the last generation, really, and is getting worse. So what we're trying to do with this project is to connect children to nature where they are. And where do they go every day? They go to school. So we're working with the children and the teachers to connect the children to the nature that is on their doorstep. in the school grounds or maybe the local green spaces.
So what type of nature do they find, depending on the school? Okay, but roughly, just a general idea.
Very variable. We have urban schools which have wonderful wildlife gardens. We have urban schools which are seemingly concrete playgrounds with very little greenery, very little natural plants or habitats there. So it's very varied, but our belief is that if there's nothing there, we can still make improvements, and part of the programme is about suggesting what kind of improvements could be made to give nature a home in their school grounds.
And does this involve lots of work, or are these simple things which the students themselves can do to improve the school environment?
Yeah, very simple, very simple. So our outreach programme means we go into schools, we're training up volunteers to go in, so it's all straightforward, training up volunteers to deliver one of 3 90-minute sessions. One is about bird watching, one is called a Bio Blitz, which essentially is over a limited period of time, so say 30 minutes or maybe an hour, for the children to go round and see what have they got in their school grounds. So we give them spot-it sheets of plants, of animals, of mini beasts, maybe they have a pond, looking at the trees and shrubs, and just very quickly they go round and see what they've already got, and that's what a BioBlitz is. It's seeing every different living thing in the environment.
And discovering probably many species of plants and animals which were there already, but they had never noticed before.
Absolutely. I speak to many teachers who say, oh, you won't be able to work with us here, we've got nothing. We go and do a BioBlitz and we discover, picking up a paving slab, they have got ants' nests, and rolling over a log, there are woodlice there. So, I defy most teachers to say that they've got nothing.
And regarding the bird watching, is it also an organized event, or is it just a school-based event which happens at the teacher's initiative, sort of?
We run a programme which we've been running for several years now called the Big Schools Birdwatch, which is the first half of the spring term, so that's January, February, and we ask schools to record what birds they see for an hour. And we give them spot-it sheets and identification cards, and then as part of a citizen science project they input the data onto our national database, and we're able, and we've been able to do this for several years now, we're able to see a kind of a snapshot of the state of the birds in our country, and it feeds in, it sort of complements a big garden bird watch, which is a parallel scheme where over a weekend families can get involved in spotting what birds there are.
So even though this work is being done by people of very young age, it still has a scientific value, sort of.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not a rigorous scientific result that we get, but certainly it gives us an indication, and it's a useful exercise from the children's point of view. It brings ICT into the exercise, submitting results, and it makes them feel part of something bigger, which is great.
Okay, so one last question. What benefits are derived from this project for the school, for the students themselves, and obviously for nature as well?
So once we've done the BioBlitz, we might then do the third session with them, which is called Giving Nature a Home. So they may feel they've got nothing there. And so for those schools that feel they've got nothing, we're able to say, well, here are lots of ideas how you can give nature a home. Why not build a bug hotel, put up some bird feeders, create a log pile, all those kind of things. So we're leaving them with an improved school grounds. We're connecting the children at an emotional level with what is outside. We're not just feeding them with knowledge, but we're hopefully inspiring them to act for nature in the future. And I'm hoping that we're creating lots of pockets of green space, green corridors around our urban environment, which is going to be of huge benefit for wildlife.
It's very interesting. Janet, I wish to thank you a lot for this interview.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope that maybe some of the things that we've learnt can be reproduced in the Malta situation. Thank you.
Mela kif għadna kif smajna, Jane Twott tifforma parti mir Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, l-akbar soċjetà ambjentali mhux governattiva fir-Renju Unit. L-RSPB kienet waqfet 125 sena ilu u llum tot 1.1 miljun membru. Ġenit taħdem bħala Schools Outreach Officer fi proġett edukattiv li għandu lan li jilħaq skejjel li jsibuha diffiċli biex jibgħatu studenti tagħhom għal żjarat f'riservi naturali. Huma dawn l-istudenti li jgħixu f'żoni urbani li l-aktar inqataw min-natura, għalkemm ir-riċerka wriet li anke tfal li jgħixu fil-kampanja qegħdin jitilfu l-kuntatt man-natura. Janet Watt semmit l-impatt tal-logħob elettroniku li ħoloq distak qawwi bejn it-tfal u l-ambjent naturali u li qiegħed jinħass ferm fil-ġenerazzjoni li tila. L-Schools Outreach Program qiegħed jipprova jerġa' jdaħħal lin-natura fil-ħajja tat-tfal u fl-istess ħin jagħti dar lin-natura saħansitra fl-akbar bliet tal-Ingilterra. Minħabba d-diffikultajiet li l-għalliema qegħdin isibu biex joħorġu it-tfal fil-kampanja, il-programm qiegħed jiffoka fuq l-iskejjel tagħhom li wara kollox huma l-postijiet fejn it-tfal l-aktar li jqattaw ħin. Filwaqt li xi skejjel ħolqu ġonna n-natura, f'oħrajn ma ssib xejn li fart mottija bil-konkrit. Lil dawn l-iskejjel, l-School Outreach Officers joffrulhom l-għajnuna biex mix-xejn joħolqu spazji fejn in-natura ssib post fejn tgħix u titkattar. Il-programm edukattiv jinfirex fuq 3 attivitajiet li jsiru bl-għajnuna tal-volontira tal-RSPB. L-ewwel attività tkun taħdita dwar in-natura. It-tieni attività hija l-BioBlitz fejn hawnhekk it-tfal u l-għalliema iduru l-ispazji miftuħa tal-iskola u jieħdu nota ta' kull ħlejqa selvaġġa bħal pjanti, insetti, dut u għasafar li jiltaqgħu magħhom. Spiss jibdew bl-idea li fl-iskola tagħhom m'hemmx natura, iżda jispiċċaw fema kompletament differenti. Imbagħad hemm ukoll il-Big Schools Birdwatch li ilha ssir bosta snin fl-ewwel xahrejn tas-sena. L-istudenti u l-għalliema jqattaw sija jidentifikaw l-asafar madwar l-iskola tagħhom. It-tarif jiddaħħal fi programm elettroniku u bekk jinġabar tarif minn madwar ir-Renju Unit kollu. Minkejja li l-Birdwatch issir minn tfal żgħar, it-tarif xorta għandu valur xjentifiku u jixħed dawl fuq il-qagħda tal-asafar urbani. Min-naħa tagħhom it-tfal iħossuhom utli li taw semhom fil-konservazzjoni tan-natura. Skont Janet Watt, l-akbar valur tal-programm mhuwiex it-tagħlim imma rabta emozjonali li t-tfal jiżviluppaw man-natura u li tispirhom biex jaħdmu aktar fil-qasam tal-konservazzjoni u tal-ambjent naturali. Radio Marija flimkien ma' BirdLife Malta għadu kif waslilkom il-programm Naturali. Kidba ta' Jason Aloisio u preżentazzjoni ta' Rosalba Ebejer Katania.